I'd like to begin by saying that there's an older couple that typically sits over here, Dixie and Ray, and you know who they are. They've got this little therapy dog with them. They're a sweet couple. Well, Ray was taken to the hospital this week with some heart issues. They still don't know what's going on. But today their son, who's in his 40s, was taken to the hospital for a massive stroke. And he's going to have some surgery tonight at UC's main campus. So I just want to share with you that because I know this family, we're a praying family, yes? Yes. And I want you to follow up on that tonight before you go to bed tomorrow, and when you wake up, pray for them. This is just a terrible time for one family to go through what they're going through. RTS, this is not part of the gospel, but I do want to acknowledge tonight is the big drawing for RTS. We did hit our goal. We're over our goal by a few $100s. Am I right, John? A few $100s. So, yeah. And if you haven't purchased a ticket, John will be glad to sell you a ticket after Mass. For those... We don't have to stop at 40,000. So, for those who are visiting, RTS is our annual fundraiser that we raise money to do things for the parish. And this year we're power washing the church. We've already started renovating the front doors, all the painted windows and all that stuff on the outside. The ceilings were all cleaned up and painted. So it always goes back into the beauty of our campus. So if you want to, please participate in the drawing tonight by buying a ticket. If you choose not to, know that we always have an ice cream social. What a great day for an ice cream social, yes? And we set up tables over here in the shade. And we know the sun's going down, so we will be in that shaded area where the rectory will now become part of our shade. So we hope we have a good turnout after Mass. Please come out for this turnout. And speaking of RTS, I think there's something that we don't acknowledge enough around here. And I'm going to start by acknowledging a few folks. You know, RTS is an idea that started 10 years ago, and it grew. And actually, this is the second largest goal we've ever come up with, and we've exceeded it. And it's been really good for St. Andrew. But it takes a lot of people to follow up on this goal, to follow up on this project. And when we start with an idea, our staff comes together and we start to really work with it. It's like a crock pot, and we work with it, and there's a lot of follow-up and a lot of commitment. And you know, I just want to acknowledge our staff tonight. There's so much around here that happens that's so positive for you, for our family. We have to acknowledge this. Like the beauty of our grounds. Don't the flowers around here look beautiful? And the grounds always look great? But Joe Irwin and Greg Johnson, you can thank them at the ice cream social. They do a great job around here. Every time you call here at St. Andrew, we have the sweetest voice answers the phone. Her name's Jen. Jen's here tonight. I want you to say thank you to Jen, just because Jen's in our office. And she does a great job. Thank you, Jen. This past year, we added a social media person. Mandy is doing an absolute phenomenal job keeping our parish connected. I don't know if you're in that feed or not. She is doing a magnificent... She's upstairs singing in the choir, and she'll be embarrassed if I ask her to stand up. So I won't ask her to stand up, but you all can say thank you to Mandy, too. And our business manager, John Soner, he keeps things on task, and RTS has been on a nice pace because of John's efforts. And not only does John, not only is he the business manager here at St. Andrew, he also shares with Valerie Hoffman's here tonight, he shares the responsibility with being joint business managers over at our school. So there's a lot that goes on. Thank you, John, for doing that. Thank you, Valerie. There's a lot that goes into our parish, and the people behind the scenes just don't get enough recognition. And that's what I wanted to do tonight. I just wanted to recognize them and thank you for a successful campaign. Thank you for all your work and all your follow-up. It's just wonderful to be a part of such a great staff and to be a part of such a great family. And finally, thank you all for supporting RTS. Thank you for you all. Because we need to support our family, yes? Yes. and it's going for a good cause. We're paying it forward to the next generation. And speaking of follow-up, the gospel message tonight is very clear. Jesus is asking us to follow him. A lot of times that comes to us in varied ways. And we can make the commitment to follow Christ, but sometimes we forget one important aspect of following Jesus Christ. It's our follow-up to our personal resolve and to follow through with whatever we do to follow Christ. What do I mean? I just asked you to pray for Ray and Dixie. That's the Christian call of the baptized, to pray for one another. That's following Christ. Follow up with that tonight. Know that's a way to follow Christ. Follow through with that tomorrow. And know that you're walking with the Lord when you do that. Every time we do something to honor our baptismal promise, our baptismal call, we, each and every one of us, the second reading, we are adopted children by virtue of our baptism. What does that mean? Our baptism calls us to live the mission of Jesus, to follow him. Many of our volunteers here in the office, like Barb, they follow the Lord by just helping out their home parish. What about our Vincentians? Or Sister Lucia's Hope Emergency that many of you help out. We have a lot of people that volunteer up there. That's an answer to the baptismal call. That's following up to follow the Lord. You know, my friends, it's not hard to live in Christ. To love God and love neighbor, the second reading again. To love God and love neighbor, it's easy to say it. But sometimes it's harder to follow up and live it. Sometimes it's hard to follow through with that when you're angry at someone or you want to hear that word of forgiveness before you will give in. You see, to follow the Lord, to follow Christ, to be part of the baptized mission of Christ, it does mean to follow him. Put your hand to the plow and don't turn back. But that requires a resolve, a constant commitment to follow up and to follow through. That's the mission of the baptized. That's the mission of the church. That's being followers of the one who saves us. Thanks be to God, who saves us in Christ.